You are Locked On Warriors POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, Warriors fans? Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors POSTCAST. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and you may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, or maybe from some of these other Locked On Sports Network postcasts that we do. We also do the Locked On Giants postcast and the Locked On 49ers postcast. But today, the Warriors bounce back in a big way, and the defense came to play as they dismantled the Portland Trailblazers 103-86. Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler really led the way for the Warriors defensively. They forced a total of 22 turnovers, the Golden State Warriors did, on defense today. And Steph Curry also re-injured his thumb that's been giving him problems all season long after banging it on his defender's knee late in that first quarter, giving the Warriors some concern going into the huge regular season finale on Sunday against the Clippers. A lot of permutations from things happening around the league tonight. We'll get into it all on the Locked On Warriors postcast tonight. But first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. If you aren't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed. However you're tuning in, we appreciate it. And make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. And this one, really, I was getting concerned the way that this game started. Warriors digging themselves an early hole in that first quarter, the same way they've been doing that lately by shooting a lot of threes that aren't going in. And frankly, it never got better tonight. The three-point shooting never got better for the Warriors. They finished at 31.8% from three-point range, just 14 of 44. This team has got to stop just chucking it up from deep. It's not a good game plan. It's really not. The Warriors are not a great three-point shooting team. Obviously, Steph can shoot a three anytime he wants, but I don't need Buddy Hield taking 10 three-pointers. He did make 4 of 10 tonight, which isn't a terrible slash line, but they need role players to step up from making shots beyond the arc if they want to keep winning games in the postseason. But the one thing that they can do to combat that is get into the free throw line. And they did that over and over and over and over and over again tonight. 28 free throws for the Warriors. They made 23 of them, a little bit lower percentage than they usually have at 82.1%. Ever since getting Jimmy, obviously, the free throw percentage has skyrocketed, especially compared to where it was earlier in the season. But Jimmy Butler really did a great job kind of limiting the Blazers on the offensive end of the floor tonight. He was great defensively. So was Draymond Green. But Jimmy also did a great job in making sure that Steph did not have to come back into this game in that fourth quarter. Jimmy helped put this one to bed. And because of all of that work that Jimmy Butler did tonight, he gets our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And Jimmy, he was awesome tonight. He had everything going for him. Jimmy was even drilling that corner three a little bit. He made one of them there in that fourth quarter, 11 of 11 from the free throw line. He only took 10 shots from the floor, finished with 24 points, a plus 22 plus minus. He was awesome tonight. 5 boards, 7 assists, a couple steals. And the defensive impact that this guy has is just, unmeasurable. Like you can look at the box score and read what he did as far as steals and blocks go, but it doesn't tell the full story of what Jimmy Butler does for this team defensively. He completely revolutionizes what they've been trying to do. And I had a feeling that the defense was really going to bounce back tonight because Draymond Green, post-game, after they lost to the Spurs, went out and declared publicly that the Warriors lacked grit in that game, and that the defense specifically, I thought, was going to respond to that comment, that the Warriors were going to go out there and will themselves to a win, and that's exactly what they did. They forced the Portland Trailblazers into 22 turnovers. They had 15 steals as a team and 7 blocks. Draymond Green on his own, 4 steals and a block. He was everywhere tonight, man, solidifying his case for Defensive Player of the Year. If it's not him, if this goes to Evan Mobley, I'm just going to be so upset. Draymond Green absolutely deserves this award. And I saw a lot of narratives on X and other social media sites today about how it's all Draymond Green's podcast and him driving the narrative that's getting him this Defensive Player of the Year award or making him the front runner for it now. And that tells me that people aren't watching Warriors games if they're saying stuff like that, because Draymond Green, I mean, has been doing this all season long. It's been much more effective since Jimmy Butler has gotten here, and I think that is what helped him turn the corner. But he's been doing this all season long. This is nothing new for Draymond. He has been a beast defensively, can guard 1 through 5, and he's one of the very few players that can do that in this league. Perimeter, in the paint, doesn't matter. He'll guard Jokic, he'll guard LeBron, he'll guard anybody you want to throw out there at him. Does not matter. Draymond Green's willing to accept that assignment. And even if he's not, like tonight, he was just 1 of 6 from the field, the one shot being a 3-pointer. But he still had such a huge impact on this game defensively. It was just play after play after play on the defensive end of the floor for Draymond. He also pitched in 7 boards and 5 assists in this one. But Draymond is the heart and soul of this team, and we already know that Draymond Green is the greatest defender of this generation. He should be recognized with the Defensive Player of the Year award when it's all said and done. But to get through the recap of this game, I mean, early on in this one, as I said, the Warriors dug themselves a hole early on, but they started to kind of pull out of it towards the end of the first. And then Steph comes out of the game with about 2 minutes left in the first quarter and heads to the locker room. He banged his thumb on this defender's knee. It's the same thumb that's been giving him issues all season long on his right hand, his shooting hand. And that's the last thing you want to see right now, man, because the most important thing for this Warriors team heading into the postseason is health, and then shortly followed by confidence after that. And the Warriors definitely have a lot of confidence in themselves, but they aren't super healthy. They don't look like to be the healthiest that they've been all season. And that's, nobody's healthy at this point in time in the year. But for Steph to be re-injuring that thumb to the point where he's got to go into the locker room, get it checked out, get it wrapped for him to come back in this game, that is a little bit concerning for me. It's the last thing you want to see right now. He did come back in the second quarter with about 8 minutes at about the 8-minute mark. So wasn't in there for too long. He did get back pretty promptly, but you could tell that he wasn't looking to score in the same way that he had been in other games recently. 14 points for Steph tonight, just 2 of 8 from 3-point land, 6 of 14 from the field. I would bet that thumb injury absolutely impacted his shooting performance tonight. But it was, as I said, the Warriors' offense wasn't the story tonight. It was their defense. And in that second quarter, they held the Blazers to just 26% from the floor, only 17 total points, 6 of 23, just 6 field goals for the Blazers in that second quarter. The Warriors could have run away with the game right there, but they only shot They only scored 24 points themselves in that quarter, only shot 33% from the floor, and made just 1 more field goal than the Blazers did in that second quarter. They really should have been able to run away with it, but they were just letting the Blazers hang around. And even though they held them to just 37 at the half, the 13-point lead felt a little slim to me, felt a little thinner than it should have been. And thankfully, start of the third quarter, they go on a big run, which was tonight's turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And the turning point was the Warriors going on a big 17-3 run from early on in the third quarter to the midway point of the quarter. By the end of the run, they led by 25 points. And it put all my fears of a thin lead to bed. Moses Moody, big part in that run, getting it going. He scored, I think, like 6 straight points, 5 straight points, something like that for the Warriors in that run to start it off. So he is going to be a big key for the Warriors in the postseason. Same with Quentin Post, same with Buddy Hield, same with GP2. All of these role players got to step up and start playing better than we saw them play against the Spurs. So tonight's a nice little bounce back for Moses Moody in that sense. Moses tonight did only finish with 9 points, and he was still 3 of 10 from the field. But, I mean, we got to see a little bit of life from these guys. Brandon Pajemski also 10 points. 4 of 11 from the field, not his best shooting night, but he did have 7 boards, 3 assists. Moody did, or Pods did, and he also had a plus 31 plus minus to lead the Warriors. Had a couple, drew like 3 offensive fouls from the Blazers, so he was doing a great job drawing charges. The typical Brandon Pajemski experience. So I do think that those things matter a lot for the Warriors down the stretch, and it's going to be important for this team to get all these role players active going into the postseason. And you have one more game to kind of prep for all of that. But then before this one got on out of here, before the Warriors got on out of the Moda Center, Steph sat down with about 2:43 left in that third quarter and a 17-point lead. And then Jimmy Butler really put the onus on himself to carry the scoring load in that fourth quarter early on to put the Blazers away, let Steph chill on the bench for the rest of the game, relax and rest up that thumb. And that was a huge deal in this one. Jimmy, just doing everything he could for the Warriors, led the way with 24 points and 7 assists. He was great for the Warriors tonight. This was, playoff Jimmy tune-up. This is what we'll expect from him in the postseason. And I think the Warriors are going to pose a formidable threat, regardless of if they're in the play-in or the playoffs to start. But we got to talk about that. That's the huge topic that on everybody's mind right now is how is this West going to shake out? That's what we're going to talk about next here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute MLB showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA matchup. But finding great seats at a great price, that used to be a challenge until I found Game Time. Game Time makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the event gets closer, and with their all-in pricing, you see the total cost up front, no surprises at checkout. And there's so many reasons why I love using Game Time, especially their last minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you're into. Game Time's got it. You can grab last minute seats for, this Warriors Clippers game on Sunday at Chase Center, the biggest game of the Warriors season to date. And you can save big with their zone deals. And you can also get seats right from your seat before you buy, no surprise fees, and a low price guarantee. You can book with total confidence. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And today's show is also sponsored by DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 points or more in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during this entire 2024-2025 NBA regular season, which is almost over, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. And there's a few different ways you can take advantage of this. Game Time Feast, it's an amazing option. After an epic 50-point performance, you want to celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite local spot delivered right to your door. Or maybe you're staying up late watching highlights. Maybe it's a late Warriors game, and you just need a midnight snack. And by using Dash Pass to grab something delicious, you will also be saving big. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off and order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50. That's NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and tonight the Warriors get it done against the Blazers, setting the stage for the biggest game of the season. And it all had to come down to this, right? Like, the Warriors and Clippers have been sparring all season long, and they are going to play on Sunday. Winner gets to go to the playoffs, very likely, and the loser is going to go to the play-in. And the Warriors desperately want to avoid the play-in. And the Clippers, I just checked, they won by 1 point, man, against the Sacramento Kings tonight. Final score 101-100. Are you kidding me? The Kings couldn't get it done for the Warriors. They had an opportunity to help them out earlier this week, couldn't pull it through. And they also couldn't do it tonight against the Clippers, man. They were so blank and close. They had a nice lead earlier on in this one, but it had to come down to this, right? Warriors and Clippers in the final regular game of the season. This kind of brings me back to the We Believe season, because if you guys remember that, it was down to the wire then too between the Warriors and the Clippers back when there was only 8 teams who would make any version of postseason play. And it was the Warriors who edged out the Clippers in that season, in the We Believe year, to go to the postseason and beat the Dallas Mavericks in that first round of the playoffs and kind of reinvigorated some life back into this Warriors franchise. That was the beginning of the Warriors starting to ascend again. And obviously they ended up getting Steph, and that really helped them take off, Steph and Clay. But you don't end up winning all those championships without pieces of that We Believe season. Monte Ellis, of course, turning into Andrew Bogut, and so on and so forth. Plenty of other permutations from that team kind of influencing this modern era of Warriors basketball. And the Warriors, it's going to go down, obviously, but with them and the Clippers again this season. Sunday, 12:30 p.m. at Chase Center is the tip. And man, it is gonna be a showdown because the Clippers are playing for the same stakes that the Warriors are playing for. And if they are able to win, the Warriors are the Warriors are going to go to the playoffs if they win that game. And thankfully, they got a little bit of help tonight because Memphis lost. And that is a huge deal for the Warriors. They have the tiebreaker over Memphis. So no matter what happens in this final game of the season for the Warriors, they will at least finish above the Memphis Grizzlies. The worst they can do is the 7th seed. So you're really hoping that we also were hoping for a Wolves loss. They were playing the Brooklyn Nets, who are not a very good team this season, despite the way the Nets played the Warriors this year, which was surprisingly tough. But the Timberwolves are gonna have a shot to get sneak into the playoffs and out of the play-in too if the Warriors lose their final game of the season against the Clippers. So it is paramount for this team to win. Basically, if you win that final game against the Clippers, you're definitely in the playoffs. You're the 6th seed, very likely. And if you lose that game, you're very likely the 7th seed. So hopefully, the Warriors can get it done against the Clippers. And I mean, they look really good lately. Kawhi Leonard looks like he is back to being healthy and ready to go for the postseason. James Harden's been having a great year all season long. And of course, the Clippers have a ton of size with Zubac inside, and the Warriors struggle with teams like that. So let's see if they can pull it off tomorrow. It is going to be a massive matchup out there at Mission Rock and Chase Center, and it is going to be a big deal for the Warriors to win this game. You want to avoid the play-in. There have been so many bad games that the Warriors have played in the play-in in recent memory. I don't want any part of it, but should they end up in the play-in, I think this team is much more mentally tough than the other versions of the Warriors in recent years that have gone to the play-in where things have not gone very well. I think that the Warriors are going to have a much better shot this year getting out of the play-in than they did last year, for instance. And I think that the Warriors are going to be poised to do some damage in the postseason. Jimmy Butler, and the way that this defense has been reinvigorated since he came to this team, it's a big deal, man. The way that they're steady down the stretch with the free throws, also a very big deal. They can score in multiple ways. They can win in multiple ways. If the three ball isn't falling, they still have other ways to win. Shout out Jimmy Butler getting to the free throw line. And Jonathan Kuminga also did a great job getting to the free throw line tonight. 6 of 8 for Kuminga from the free throw line. He had 10 points. Only 2 of 7 from the field, though. He was really, early on, one of the only Warriors who was looking to get shots inside. When everyone else was chucking up threes, Kuminga was trying to drive into the teeth of that defense and score buckets in the paint. And they need that type of mentality going forward because you can't have many more. Like, if you have this type of three-point shooting performance against the Clippers, if you shoot 31% from three and you still decide to chuck up 44 of them, I don't think you're going to win that game. So you got to figure out a way to score in different ways other than just jacking up threes. Steph can do it all he wants. Everybody else, it's got to be, an open shot, a good look, not a contested, I'm gonna give you a couple jab steps and try and cross you up and shoot off a dribble move. That's not what I want to see from anyone on this team other than Steph Curry. I don't ever want to see Buddy Hield put the ball on the floor and then pull up for a shot ever again in my lifetime. But it's going to happen a couple times eventually. We all know this. And shout out Buddy Hield, by the way, getting over 200 three-pointers yet again in his career. Another season of 200 threes for Buddy. I have no idea how he does this every single season. But, man, this doesn't stand out as a particularly great year for Buddy for me. But, he's sitting at 41.7% from three. And, he had over 200 of them again as of today. So shout out Buddy Hield in his three-point shooting, even though it is so streaky at times. Hopefully hopefully we get good Buddy in the postseason. That's what I'm really hoping for. So Warriors big win tonight, even bigger game tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Sunday, not Saturday. Sunday, 12:30 p.m. at Chase Center. If you can get out there, use Game Time, get some tickets, and head out to Chase. That's about all the time we got for you guys today. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time on Sunday after Warriors Clippers. We'll see you then. Peace.